who help the community. We have to think about those who are on drugs. Make sure if people just have extra money in the community, ask that person, have they eaten today? You know they do drugs. You know they're going to spend their lives on drugs. But guess what? Their battles ain't no different from yours. That's what addiction causes. Offer them a meal. If you trust them, offer them a night at your house to stay warm on certain cold days. Offer them a blanket if they're on the streets. Offer them a food box. Offer them clothes that you were going to throw away or take to the thrift store. Why donate something that they're going to sell to a person of somebody else's when these clothes could be going to the homeless? Some of these clothes are from people who have crossed over. They need to be donated to the homeless. Why are they being resold for what costs the same price as something new in a store? I never understood that, especially when I worked there. They even had someone's dog that had crossed over, frozen, and selling it on the shelf. And we noticed it was a real dog and not a fake one. And that was kind of traumatizing to everybody in the store. So I just never understood these things and why we are not providing these things for those in poverty. Just like those who have the big yacht tents all in a camping and in their backyards. If you got extra money and you donate to organizations and people, it'll be nice if we bring some of those in the poverty and low income areas where they could be used as a source of warmth and energy. And maybe we can have the police in the neighborhood to just ride around and make sure no one is doing drugs or being harmful. Like, it's just making sure they are safe in the neighborhood as well, along with those who are just prostitution as well. They need hygiene products, they need deodorant, they need food, they need money, they need guidance, they need mentor, they need counseling, they need therapy, they need anybody who can offer a friend to them in this spare moment time of being a good humanitarian, saying, honey, look, I see you, but I ain't forgot about you. I see you spent your last on this laundry detergent, groceries for the little pimps. Like, I see y'all up there, honey. But we need to love ourselves and know that we don't depend on man for nothing. The only person we depend on is divine God. Because no man can take us where God can take us. Everything I learned on my own with nobody's help. And all my life, that's all people did, took over my steering wheel. But once I got to drive my own life, oh no, I'm sorry, you can't sit in this seat. You know, we all got it in us. But it takes people to understand these women who is out here of prostitution are really majority of young women who were forced to lust their bodies to older men by those in families, or being victim of sexually assault among those in a family, among those out on the streets, traumatic traumas, and just not having parents to be there, maybe who were on drugs. Boyfriends may molested them, mothers may sold them for money, may had to take care of siblings. You just never know. And before we judge people, and before we sit back and say, it's like, let me help you, baby. I ain't come here to hurt you. I ain't come here to judge you. I came to help you and help you judge. May I take you to the government building? May I take you to Job and Family Resources? May I take you to get an ID, a birth certificate for those children in the poverty area who are struggling? I noticed this lady who lived in the poverty project area walk all the way to the grocery store with an autistic son. This lady is in her late 60s, early 60s, 50s, I don't know. She's older, and one of her sons has autism. I seen them sitting on the side of a road one day. I was going to pick up my groceries, and as I had my trunk pop so they could put the groceries in my trunk, I noticed her across the street sitting on the curb. And so I told the store, wait, I'm sorry, I will be back. And I went and loaded her groceries and children and took them home. I then seen her again one day, and I said, oh my God, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm going to help this lady. And I asked her, honey, do you need a ride? And I'm never in the community where I really live. I like to go in and out here and there. So this is just sporadically that I seen her this second time. And she said, no, thank you. I'm waiting on my transportation. Her and her son sitting in the grass with their groceries. We need people in the neighborhood that's just nice enough to say, hey, I'll pay for your Ubers for you to go back and forth to the grocery store once a week. And maybe, and also inform her that they will sit there and wait for her, where she don't have to sit on the side of the road in the grass with her groceries, because her children are also members of our community center, where they go there all the time. So we need mentors down there who can work with her son, read with her son, interact, play basketball. And we need these kind of mentors in our communities, even those who may have certain things on their record from what they were born into, certain felonies. If they're not violent felonies, it's something that you can still mentor and help to get in the school systems, to get our children out of class for a while and interact with them, and give these children who come from single parents and broken homes that love and support and one-on-one that they need, that they're not getting at home or in school with the teachers that are from a different race and just don't resonate with our children because we raised them different from two different lifestyles. And some of these teachers just ain't got good intentions anyway. They pretend that they have a great heart for your children, but these are the same children are not fighting to get justice for what is going on in the school system. In fact, they are just buying our children things, inviting our children to their families, kind of giving you the spirit of losing Isaiah, where they don't want to be understanding that they are two different people. But I then learned to understand that they also get donations for our children and for what they are doing for our children. They also are kind of inviting our children to call them mom and dad when we're not around, and also call them grandma and auntie, like the movie Get Out, and the other movie US, Get Out of the US, because they are manipulating and performing I don't know. I don't get into the dark side. As you can see, I'm up here with God on the enlightenment side. But they doing some weird, I would say hypnotizing, which in fact made me become aware to these behaviors, because this same teacher who informed me that my son was on a gifted level, she was also the sister of the teacher who I first met, that my son had connected to at a different school when I had lived with my mother during one of my struggles. And this teacher was like, oh my God, I love your son. He had always been a ladies' man, a charmer, loved to flip. Just every woman fell in love with him. So I was like, thank you. But then these behaviors go to, can they stay all night? Can I take them here? Can I buy them this? Oh, you can call me mommy. You can call me daddy. You can call me grandma. And then it makes our children not like us and wish that they had this life with these people, something that these people know that we are unable to provide because we are in suffering and we are not in that position. And instead of these teachers being polite to offer us the support to bring us in a better position, bring resources to us to get us out of these predicaments, instead they are making our children hate us and wish that they were their parents, while secretly doing shit like this. And I knew these behaviors was going on because, like I said, I'm the world's biggest psychic, and I just see right through people. And I will always get upset. And when we moved, and even through every home we lived in, they have never wanted to walk a foot in my home, and they have never walked a foot in my home. And also, when we moved to another city, we've noticed, me and my children, because I was already giving them what was going on and what I noticed and what they were doing of trying to manipulate them. So I was already giving knowledge and wisdom to them and making them aware of their behaviors to see them for themselves, of the sneaking, conniving, and deceiving ways that they were deceiving me. And so my children start to see these things, and they start to reflect back as a child and come forth and say, they asked me to call them mom, say, hey, and I said, I told you, I knew it. And you tried not to tell me that because you love this person, but I knew it. I felt it. I felt every deception that they were doing to me, buying $500 phones. I mean, going as big as when I moved, and they would go through the children to see where I moved. And they knew that I was in an Airbnb. They knew it was 4 of us cooped in this dang on apartment with no bedroom, nothing but a bed and a couch, refrigerator and a stove, a nice shower. I mean, that mug was laid out. It was laid out. It had balcony. It was definitely laid out. But she gonna come up, she and her mother, who I had never met before, says, oh, we see you guys are rich now. Are you kidding me? The audacity. And then said, get in the car. Tell us more. I said, oh, I'm writing a book. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. Oh, the teacher is drunk. She didn't mind drinking around my children since the day I allowed them to stay all night. She have a real bad drinking problem. On top of it, her brother is running in a different state because he can't be gay among their families. He are being denied to be himself in front of them and their children. The mother, in fact, I had met that day, what's going on with you, girl? Tell me. And I'm like, oh my God, who are you? Are you their mother? And she like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing too. Because at this point, I want them to know that I'm going to be successful and that what they're doing is not me a favor. It's what their conscience is making them do because I never needed them. And but the children, I told them, hey, if this is what you like, this is what you like. But my children grew to just slow down on these things and wouldn't even just cut the situation off because I then found out in a car that the mother wrote books the whole time. And when the daughter brought that to my attention, the mother said, oh no, I really don't write books like that. Oh, it's not what you think. And she said, Mom, stop. And they just diddled and faddled along among each other. And oh my God, it wasn't no. Okay, I see that you're not going to help. And they did not offer me help. In fact, when I moved and they knew I bought a home because they were still manipulating my son, my gifted son, and trying to buy him, like I said, $500 phones. I was already helping my children. Don't you dare tell another person where we live. These people don't call and see if I need anything, how I'm doing. They only call when they see that you don't need them and that they haven't heard from you in a while. When people don't call me, contact me, and I had moved for 7 months before people who were considered close to me even noticed or claimed to notice that I had moved. So that means you ain't talked to me in that long to notice me. And that's how these behaviors was with these teachers. And would keep telling my children what they better do, what they better not do. Quit hanging with your brother. Quit hanging with your friends. And my sons be like, what you mean quit hanging with my brothers? And I would get so livid on the inside. But these are people that you keep affiliating with your own personal will. And they are learning lessons in these teachers. So the more these teachers can control them from hanging with their brother or their friends of who they think they should not hang with and overrule my power and authority as their mother, something they wish they were, and something they were trying to be and weren't, I then sat back and let my children learn those lessons. And when they did, they see these teachers are trying to turn you against your own family. And because these teachers could not find my location, when they found out I was in the middle of about to close on a home, they sent me a picture a day before I moved out of that Airbnb and said, here's a home right around the corner from you that I seen. And I told them, oh, no, thank you. I found one. And they said, oh, where? And I told them a different city. And they said, oh, okay, congratulations. And then they tried to get the address for my son. But I was big firm, and he knew not to give our safe place out. And so I then finds out she is asking, the mother of the teachers is asking, and the teachers, the mother of the teacher and the other daughter is in fact calling this program and telling them, I'm concerned about my gifted child. They is expressing that they is concerned about my gifted child because my other son has been released from jail and he don't need to be around him. They're scared for his safety. They don't feel that he's safe, as if he's not supposed to love his brother. As if his brother is just a psychopathic killer who wants to harm him and not a person that he sits and play video games with, talk on the phone to when he call home. A brother who was in fact this time racially profiled, jumped out on for a gang affiliation back in 2018, and he was just released, walking down the street doing nothing. That's why he in jail now. And she had the nerve to say that about my son. And feel that way about my son that she has never been around. Only the rumors that she heard about him, but the story that she don't even know about him. And the government been messing my son up. It started when he was premature, 2 months early. He had to get Synergist shots to breathe because he was born with a breathing condition and borderline autism is what I was told, borderline autism. He had to breathe through a syringe medication. When they stopped providing this medication for him, when he turned 1, he had a seizure that day and almost passed away. And he was already born 2 months early. They said he will have complications with his brain, with being held back. But she don't know his story. But she's quick to judge him and turn his own brothers against him while trying to encourage my child to call them parents. Have you lost your mind? I think you have. And to go among certain measures, to go into our privacy, complain like you have a right as a mother when you don't. It's not okay. They went more into digging to where the principal at this school is asking me, hey, where'd you guys move? Yeah, but what part of this city did you guys move? I tell him where we moved, what part of the city. Because now I know I told her something different from him. And I know if I'm being played. So I said, I don't remember the street. He said, so you bought the house, but you don't remember the street you live on? I said, no. He said, so what is it by? And I said, I really can't remember. He said, oh. And he was like really pressed. And I'm looking. And I'm just looking like, why are you keep asking me and pressuring me about where I'm living? And he said, so I said, I know I seen a school. And he said, do you turn left or do you turn right? Why do that matter? Why are you asking me these things? My son is in a gifted program. You are not required to have our address. Everything that gets filled out goes through the home where he resides during the weekday for school. And any information provided to this school have to be kept private. And things were getting mixed up. Like, what is going on? And I just felt like this lady may be conniving the mother and going and behind my back and sneaking in to big positions and organizations. And I just feel like she know a lot of people. And she is really stalking me and obsessing us because she's still asking my children for the address and where we live. It is really bothering them. And we don't need their support. They are still paying my son's phone bill. I never asked them to even stop doing these things because I was waiting for this moment to get it out. And there was a reason why I can never be thankful to them and just felt the way that I felt, because I knew my eyes wasn't playing tricks on me. Mental illness was when I seen the most, and that's when I start mastering my visions. That's how my psychic awareness started becoming stronger and stronger. So I learned how to replay things back. And during my mental illness, I was asking my old psychologist at the time, could he teach me big words, because I was trying to gain intellectual skills. And he taught me a word which was clairvoyant, and that was something that I was experiencing, where when I wrote my story, I had my whole life written down in 2 months. I also had my business organization already completed with my story, and I had already stocked up on survival, learned how to master how to buy a home within 1 year with a 429 credit score, and had a 729 within 1 year, or within 9 months. Got my money back just off of paying $57 a month. And I just learned things really quick. And so through my mental illness, I just learned how to just keep going ahead. And I would my psychologist had told me that word, and every word that he told me, I was realizing that I was already going through the awakening of it, that I had already experienced the awakening of it, to be exact. So during my awakenings, when I feel confused, I know I'm doing a big shift, that all the wrong information is being released for what I know is my truth, and what is divinely being restored to me by the confirmation of God. So I know that what I'm taking in is correct. And when I do research of these behaviors, I jot them down. And after my awakening, I realized that I had already been through these things sometimes, or that half the time I have already did these things, and that I'm just researching it after I had already been through the process. So since things were always frightening to me, scary movies, honey, I don't like things like that. But sometimes I want to watch something and I'll be like, oh, I want to see what's next, but I'm scared, but I want to look. Or, you you want to do something, but you scared to do it, but you force yourself to do it because you like, oh, I really want to know. So you just jump into the unknown and be familiar, and just jump into the unknown and be curious just to see how it turned out. And to be like, ooh, I like this. So, that's kind of how I learned how to do things, being curious.